What up, y'all? It's your boy Rodney Perry, and this is Comedy and Crime. Hey, Musa, hit that theme song for me. Let's go, baby. Yeah.
You gon' see a lot of people doing dumb shit and they said that this gon' happen on the regular. Real people, real crime, shoot stories that get fatal. Promise ain't nothing that's scarier. Talk about the stories, but you know we different, man. You know we had to add a little twist. Comedy and crime, speaking of man, we different design. You never seen a show like this. Comedy and crime, on Rodney Perry live. 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 Comedy and crime, on Rodney Perry live.
Yo, what up, party people? It's your boy Rodney Perry. You're tuned in to Rodney Perry Live. Well, you actually tuned in to Comedy and Crime. Comedy and Crime. My partner in crime today, the fabulous, super talented, crazy comedian, Mr. Artsy Musa. How are you, Mr. Musa?
What's good? I'm great, excited, man. Another good day in the crimedy world.
Crimedy world. You just made a word. I love it. Sitting in for Melanie, our legal eagle, my brother, and graduate of Loyola Law School, Charlie Coleman III. What's up, Charlie?
I'm just working my black job, brother.
Hey, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that, man. First of all, thank you for popping on, man. You know, whenever you're my go-to guy. One, you're a great talker, and I always like to get your insight on like stuff that's going on, and stuff that's happening in the world. There's tons of stuff. Our president, our potential. Well, former President Trump is always in the news. You got 34 indictments. Is he our most criminal president of all time?
This is just the first one we know about. He living on the wild side. I think we got some worse ones on the back end.
Wow, how about that? He's just the one we know about. Wow, that's crazy. And let's not be. I'll be remiss without really getting into Artsy Musa. Artsy Musa, first of all, how are you, bro?
Good. I'm great, man. I'm great. Excited about today's episode. You know, our guest is legendary, and just excited. Comedy's going crazy, and there's always some good crime to talk about, man. Can we even say good crime? Like, it's always some good.
I mean, there's a lot of good crime out there though in these criminal streets, man.
Keep us employed, I want to say.
How about that? Comedy and Crime is going down today. My name is Rodney Perry. That young man is Artsy Musa, and that young man is Charlie Coleman III. Thank you for coming on today, Charlie. Thank you for sitting in with us. All right, let's get the show underway. Musa, what's happening out there on the streets, man?
And man, y'all know Elon Musk just launched a We Robot convention, releasing a whole bunch of robots. Optimus was one of the main robots that he released, which is a humanoid robot that they're going for 20 to 30,000. They say it can cook, it can clean, it can wash clothes, it can do everything, as well as a taxi cab he's releasing, as well as a motor bus he's releasing. I want you guys to check this video out. It's just a brief overview of everything that's coming out right now. Wow. Shoot, 2 seconds.
You look like me. I'm telling y'all.
So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks. Whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind.
So he's already saying this is going to be bigger than that. I think the iPhone might have been, I want to say, one of the biggest product launches as far as technology goes of our generation. I would say that, right?
Right. That's fair.
And they saying this is going to be bigger than the iPhone. Like, what do y'all feel like how does the legal thing go with having this in your house? Like, are these going to be like, if it commits a crime, am I liable if my robot do something? Like, how does that work if it goes off the rails?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they've thought about that or gone down the road. I guess it depends on if you the person getting hurt or if it's somebody else. I think, with robots, I think they'll probably be treated exactly like children, where, they don't have the competency to be legally responsible for things. So it would go on the owner.
Wow. I mean, we see movies, we've seen these stuff in films, but usually the film is a precursor to real life, right? So we saw this on iRobot. how soon before somebody hacks a damn computer and have it you doing bad stuff?
Exactly. Exactly. Imagine losing your job too. You know how you can say you lost your job to somebody because of racial issues? Like, what if somebody robot bias? Can that be a thing? Like, yo, you don't even rock with black people no more. You keep hiring these droids.
Hey, why you playing, Mr. Musa? I don't know if y'all ever heard this story, but when they first started creating the autonomous cars, right? Autonomous cars drive on their own. Guess what the cars could not see? They could not see black people. So can you imagine a car driving itself that don't see us and running over damn black people?
Still ain't stopping for us. Ain't even got a driver. Boy, we can't beat it. It's programmed them.
What they didn't realize, and there was one black girl at the company that realized it, is that people have their own biases. So even though they're writing programs, they're not intending to be racist, but they have their own social biases. And one of their biases was seeing blacks.
And before we move on, Rodney, I'll check this meme out because I want to see as far as do they have a case to sue? Like this is one of them.
I can't wait to see this.
They're not gonna let me post it, man. Hold up, I might have to post it in something else, guys. I might have to put it in the banners or the brand deals. I don't know why they won't let me throw this thing up here, man.
Tell me about it.
Oh, it's just a meme from the Okay, you guys see it now?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Shoot. There we go. Can y'all see it?
Oh, there you go.
Now the right side is what he released. This is the Tesla bot. This is the Tesla bus. This is the car, and this is from our robot. Does this man have a case to sue?
Yeah. So the question on this would be, how similarly situated are these? So
that's the exact same thing.
Yep. So there's some elements that are similar, but the thing that I think gets them away with it is that the brands can be easily identified because the wording is there. But no, he took that piece for piece.
Okay. Just
wow. And I mean, I can't say whether he has a case or not, but I mean, the technology didn't exist, and movies are always a precursor of technology. So what you want?
So do you think making them look like that gonna help them sell? Because it's something that we already kind of familiar with, because that's our quote unquote idea of what futuristic is.
I think it's more negative than not, because that robot went off the rails in that movie.
Facts. I feel like they don't look enough like a woman. I feel like a female would have sold more. I really do.
Man, you know what? It's hard enough out there with them fake booties. We can't have a
female with a BBL, boy. Come on now.
A BBL.
I posted on my Instagram today a young lady that they said was older. Her name was Granny Tanya. Granny Tanya was actually an AI image.
Oh man.
What's y'all thoughts on AI and people duping you with these crazy things on social media? Charlie, what's your thoughts?
It's only gonna get worse. That's my thought. This is not even bad yet. Like, people got whole schemes with fake people, and it's only gonna get worse because you can monetize off it.
Wow, how about that? I mean, this page had 40,000 followers already. Musa, you're an actor, you're a comedian. Talk to me about, like, we had a strike last year in Hollywood, and one of the big issues in the strike was artificial intelligence. Any thoughts on how it helps you or hurts you in your business?
I think it's hurting people significantly in the modeling agency, because I've seen so many different instances where they're saying that like a Levi's model fits a certain type, or a Versace model is a certain type, and they're saying that these women are being replaced. We don't even know we're looking at AI images, and we have been for years, until you start hearing models speak out to saying, yo, I used to get hired 12, 15 times a year. Now I'm only getting hired 5 or 6, until they realizing that you're being replaced by AI images. I think it's a great thing on the other side for independent filmmakers. If you're somebody like me, you're trying to create a small short film off of YouTube right out of your living room, AI is going to be able to create backgrounds for you, going to be able to create characters, going to be able to create cars. You basically just a big picture of moving green screen. You know, back you used to be able to impose a background that may be a tree or a car. Now you're going to be able to impose 3D environments, man. It's going to be crazy as far as what you can create if you got the right type of software.
Hey, y'all, this is Rodney Perry. The name of the show is Comedy and Crime. My guys in the building today, Charlie Coleman III and the great Artsy Musa is in the building. All right, let's get into it, man. Our guest for today. It's Comedy and Crime. I'm saying to myself, who can I get? I had the pleasure of meeting this young lady some years back, and I don't be saying this about no judge. She fine. She a good-looking woman. And she's actually a purveyor of the law. She's a judge. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Judge Gay Polk in the building. What's up, Judge?
Yeah. You gon' see a lot of people doing dumb shit and they said that this gon' happen on the regular. Real people, real crime, true stories. They get fatal, promise ain't nothing that's scary.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, Judge. I'm stupid. Okay, there she go. She's like, what you doing, Rodney Perry? Stay right there.
All right.
There we go.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing great. My name is still Gay Polk Payton. I dropped the husband, but I kept the name, so it's.
I'm at Gay Polk Payton, Judge Gay Polk Payton.
Yes.
And okay. Let's go. Let's go through it. Let's unpack the whole thing. First of all, Judge, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
It's a big deal to sit on the bench as a Black woman or a woman in general. Am I right?
Absolutely, it is.
What are some of your ups and downs as you navigated this part of the law?
Well, the studies have shown, and no shade on my male judges, but studies have shown that women make better judges, and there's a reason for that. Women are nosy. We're very nosy, and we know how to temper justice with compassion. That's one of the reasons that we make better judgment, but the better judges. But we are nosy. Like think about it. If your child gets in trouble and the daddy deals with it, daddy gonna be like, give me all your stuff and go to your room. Don't say nothing else to me. Mama wants to know who was over there. Well, where was your brother at? I thought his mama was supposed to be there. Where's she at? Blah, blah, blah. How did you get there? I thought you were going over there to blah, blah, blah. Mama wants to know all the deets before she passes judgment on the situation because she wants to know the totality of the circumstances before she decides what kind of punishment she's going to cast down on this child. Daddy just sees what happened. He sees the end result of what happens. And because of the outcome, he's going to look at the damage from the outcome and base his judgment on that as opposed to how they got to that situation, how they got there.
Comedy and Crime, Judge Gay Polk Payton is joining us today. Judge, I mentioned it in the intro. You ain't hard on the eyes. Is that a pro or a con when you sit on the bench?
It's neither for me because I don't deal with nonsense. When there were, when I first started, I've been a judge for 13 years. I've been a lawyer for 28. And I've been a judge for 13 years. And, the law enforcement officers, they tried it when I first started. And I let them know that, I don't know, can I curse on the show?
Say whatever you feel.
Okay, I told them I don't shit where I eat. This is my livelihood. So I'm not
Hold
going
on,
out.
Judge, they was trying to holler? They was trying to holler?
They were trying to holler. And I told them to find another goal in life because this will never happen for you. This is my livelihood. Never happen for you. So I take care of business when I'm on the bench. I've had inmates to tell me, you're the prettiest judge I've ever seen. I say, thank you. And I move on. I said, that's not going to help you with the outcome of your case, but thank you for the compliment. And I keep it moving. I don't kiki when people flirt with me, when lawyers flirt with me. I don't kiki. I'm all about the business.
Yes,
so being handsome don't help at all.
It does not.
That
Not at all. Not at all. You can put them teeth back in your mouth. Little Loyola. Look, little Loyola. I see you over there.
It don't work at all.
Did you go to Loyola in New Orleans?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my tickets removed, Judge.
Come on now. I went to grad school at the University of New Orleans. I was accepted to Loyola Law School, but Ole Miss said that they were going to pay for everything, so I went on.
Yeah, I get that. I get that completely. You gotta go.
Indeed.
Indeed. Judge Gay Polk Payton. Judge, talk to me about some of the crazy stuff you've seen on the bench, man. Um, I mean, you deal with everything, right? You're in Mississippi, and Mississippi is also the home of a lot of race-driven politics.
Yes.
And talk to me about like some of the things you've seen on the bench.
I mean, a lot of the problems that we have is, pretextual stops. Being black while driving a car. We have to deal with that. A lot of citizens deal with that, but not on my watch. When I see that there's no probable cause for the stop, there was no reasonable suspicion to create a probable cause and to move forward. And so I nipped that in the bud. Today, I released the lady on her own recognizance because the probable cause was insufficient. And if you don't have probable cause to have a conversation with this person that led to you finding drugs in her car on her person, then there's no case. Your case is garbage from that point on. And I don't play those kind of games. And it's not legal to have marijuana in Mississippi, but a lot of people will have marijuana and they'll be coming through Mississippi and they get caught in Mississippi with their marijuana. And I'll have law enforcement officers who want to set an extremely high bond because of the fact that they have marijuana. And I had a law enforcement officer one time tell me he wanted to set a $50,000 bond on some weed. And he said, and I said, why do you want the bond to be so high? And he said, well, Your Honor, they would not cooperate with law enforcement. I said, well, what did you tell them when you told them that they were under arrest? He said, I read him his Miranda. I said, well, read it for me. He said, you have the right to remain silent. I said, you can stop right there. I said, he doesn't have to cooperate with you. I said, if I get arrested, I ain't cooperating with your ass either. Bond is set at $2,500 next case. So it's just like judges have to draw the line in the sand and they have to determine what the totality of the circumstances are. And they have to stand on what's right. And they can't be afraid of cops and be afraid to piss cops off. It's better to be pissed off than be pissed on. So I'm not going to worry about whether or not they're mad about what I'm doing because I'm going to do what's right. They call me a recovering defense attorney in a robe because I was chief public defender. I was chief public defender for 9 years. So I come from a town called Fresh Off a Cop's Ass. So you're going to do your job right or you're going to deal with me.
Hey, I love to hear you talk, man. It just really refreshes me because the law. And one thing I talked about with our friend of the show, Melanie, is the fact that getting in trouble ain't cheap. Like when people get capital offenses or a big drug charge, like you say, you can be facing a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 bond. Not to mention the price of your lawyer, X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Talk to me about the cost of staying out of trouble or what it costs you if you get in some big trouble.
Well, it depends. Like when I was chief public defender, I had a client that stabbed his brother-in-law 6 times and I walked him out the door not guilty. And people were telling me like, you're making all the money, you're getting people off for murder. I said, that was a public defender case. I didn't make a dime above my salary because I made it my business. And I took pride in the fact that my clients got the same representation with me being public defender as they would if I was representing them as a private attorney. Now, if I would have been representing him as a private attorney and I had that same case, he would not have been able to get me to retain me for less than $100,000 for that case. Sure. And so his bond was set at $100,000. So as he had to sit in jail until his trial date. And, of course, he was released once he was exonerated and found not guilty in the case. I was able to show self-defense. I ripped the medical examiner to shreds, and I ripped the cop to shreds, and I told the club.
Judge. The convention of wisdom against us non-legal eagles is that if you catch a public defender, your ass is in trouble because they're less of a lawyer. But you were able to litigate through this through the BS in that situation. Like, is that a testament to how dope you are? Or should you be, if you catch a public defender, are you in good hands?
Okay, so to do what I did, I worked about 80 hours a week. The problem with public defenders is that they have I had like 500 cases at any given time. Public defenders have more cases than private attorneys do. Like a private attorney can, charge $50,000 or $25,000 and they can have 5 cases at a time. Whereas that public defender is going to have between 300 and 500 cases on their docket, that they're dealing with at the same time. So they have to filter through their cases and figure out which ones they're going to plead out and which ones they're going to have to take to trial. So sometimes I know that they have my client, and if I know they have my client, then I will work them out the best deal that I can. I had one client to tell me, he said, Ms. Gay Polk Payton, I believe that the Lord is going to deliver me from jail the same way he delivered Paul and Silas. And I told him, I said, no, sir. I said, you're confused and you need to go back to Bible study. I said, because Paul and Silas were being persecuted for their beliefs. You being prosecuted because they caught you coming out that lady's house with her TV. Then you got to call your mama because you're going to have to do some time.
You got to go to jail.
Don't call your mom and tell her. Mm-hmm.
No, you ain't Paul or Silas.
It's a difference between being prosecuted and persecuted, okay?
Prosecuted and persecuted.
Hey, my guys are here. Y'all got anything for Judge Gay Polk Payton?
Nah, she basically covered. I had one question about, the public defenders having a lot of cases. She was absolutely right. Because anytime I see them, they got the milk crate full of little, I say, yeah, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail.
Milk crate.
Hey, I say, this is what I tell my friends: stay your ass out of trouble.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Stay out of trouble if you can.
We have to do capital murder cases. I mean, we have everything from a simple possession all the way up to capital murder. And, capital murder cases, they take so much work because those cases in Mississippi, they're bifurcated. So we have to deal with the guilt phase, and then we have to go and deal with the penalty phase, and we got to deal with psychologists, and we got to get school records, and we got to get medical records. So we have to deal with all of these things with the time that we have in between representing people for all of those other things. So public defenders get a bum rap. I really feel like, I know some public defenders are lazy and they make the other public defenders look bad, but most of the public defenders really care about what happens to the people that they represent, and they're doing the very best that they can.
Yeah, my son got some trouble a couple of years ago, and I implied that the public defender that was doing less of a job, and she was so offended. She was like, "Sir," she's like, "I'm giving this young man everything I got, and he has the best lawyer he could have got on this day." Right. And you know what? I yielded because I wanted to hear her be passionate about it, and she was. And she didn't get him off, but he didn't do a quarter of what he could have got.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes that's what it comes down to, is working the best deal that you can get for them, especially when they got you. Sometimes they got you, but you got to be able to look at it. Like, I've had cases where, the police just charged the wrong thing. Like, they charged one of my clients with commercial burglary, but the only person that could put him at the scene of the commercial burglary, they caught him with the stolen goods. So they should have charged him with receiving stolen property, but they charged him with commercial burglary. And the only person that could put him at the scene was his co-defendant. And by the time I got through with his co-defendant on cross-examination, the jury didn't believe anything that came out of his mouth. So my client ended up walking, and the co-defendant had to do his little time for testifying against my client. So it's just like,
look, you bring up a great point. You bring up like, how, as the lawyer involved, how do you choose your path? Like, because you had to realize that they had charged wrong. Like, at what point in the process you go, oh, we got him, I got him.
Yeah. I mean, well, I know the law. And so when I read, they have to prove each element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. So when I look at the elements of the crime and I look at what they're charged with, and I look at, their case, and I look at the facts of the case and what they're trying to prove, I look at the affidavit of underlying facts, and I see every time I've won a case is because I've ripped a cop to shreds with his affidavit of underlying facts. And that's why I'm so hard on officers when they come to my house. I'm like, don't wake me up in the middle of the night if your affidavit of underlying facts is raggedy. Just don't even bother. Let me sleep, because I'm going to send you back to the PD so you can fix this affidavit. Because when I look at their affidavit and I see their facts, and then I put that up against the law that I know, then I'm going to be able to tear it up from that point as a defense attorney. And so I don't accept that as a judge, because it's not going to make it past grand jury. It's not going to make it past the smell test.
Wow, this is what Rodney Perry. This is Comedy and Crime. We're talking to Judge Gay Polk, Payton. Are you any relation to the great Walter Payton? Because you're in Mississippi.
My baby daddy might be kin to Walter Payton, but I don't know. I got 2 ex-husbands, and I called my first ex-husband my baby daddy because he is in fact the father of my child. Started calling him my baby daddy when my baby was 3 because I knew he was not gonna get to keep the name husband.
Wait a minute.
My second husband, I called him my husband because he was my husband, but he ain't no more. So it is what it is with that out in these streets. Okay.
Hey Judge, when we gonna get you to do a comedy set? Cause you silly man.
Do you know I did 5 minutes of fame at Walt's show one time? I killed it.
Oh wow.
Okay.
You got it all. Now, Judge, you're an elected official as well.
I am. I'm an elected and an appointed official. I'm appointed with the city of Hattiesburg as a municipal judge, and I'm elected by the county as a justice court judge.
So when you're a lawyer, you're a defense attorney, and the conversation comes. They got somebody pitch it to you. Go, look, we're gonna need a judge. Would you be willing to run for judge? What's that transition like for you? Because that's a big step. Am I right?
Well, yeah, it can be. It can be, yes. It can be. But the thing about it is if you're good at your job as a lawyer, then you know how to call balls and strikes. But the problem with a lot of lawyers is they don't know how to put themselves in the middle. It's like, if you used to be a prosecutor, then sometimes you will be a prosecutor in a robe. And if you used to be a defense attorney, you're going to be a defense attorney in a robe. One of my fellow judges told me that he aspires to be like me. He said, you sit right in the middle. He said, you know how to just sit in the middle and just call balls and strike. But my favorite symbol of the law is Lady Justice, because Lady Justice is kneeling. She's kneeling in submission to the ultimate authority. She's blindfolded, so she has no respect of persons. She has the sword of correction in one hand and the scales of justice in the other hand. So when those scales tip to one side or the other, she uses the sword of correction to correct whatever needs to be corrected. She takes those scales back to equality, and she says, next case. That's what I do each time, every time, blindfolded with no respect to persons. I'm judging the facts and circumstances as they relate to the laws of the state of Mississippi. I don't judge one person that comes before me.
Wow, Judge Gay Polk Payton is in the building. Charlie, you got anything for the judge, man? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I want to know what it feels like when they say "all rise." What you be thinking to yourself? You be like, "That's fucking right."
That's me. Way to me. It really doesn't feel any type of way to me. It's just like it really doesn't. Now I know how it feels like to some of the litigants. I remember a lawyer told me one of my son's football teammates from high school was in court. And he was there for doing something, public drunk or something he had in there. And he said that his lawyer told me after I sent him back there to do community service, he said that when I walked in and the bailiff said, "All rise," he said his client looked at him and said, "Oh shit, that's Kobe's mama." Now I don't know what my baby had been saying about me out there at that school, but that little boy was nervous about the fact that I was on the bench.
I'd be walking in that thing like George Jefferson if it was me.
You would be surprised. You would be surprised because and what I tell judges because I sometimes teach my fellow judges. I teach the clerks. I'm a peer instructor, so I tell them, the last thing I tell them whenever I teach a class is to always remember that the power vested in you by the state of Mississippi doesn't mean anything unless God vests you with the power to take your next breath. So never get beside yourself and think you better than other people, because God can suck the life out of you while you putting your robe on. So chill out and know you ain't better than nobody.
Now, Judge, I'm about to throw this at you now.
Come on now. Come on with it.
Hold on, stay right there, because we already discovered that you ain't hard on the eyes. All right, you're good looking. You ever up there with just your robe on?
No, Rodney. Because my robe stays at the courthouse. So I got to come through the courthouse.
You have some clothes. Okay.
I got to have some clothes on. I got to come through the courthouse. Oh, I would be surprised if it was anybody but you. I'd probably be surprised at that question, but I ain't surprised. No, but I gotta have clothes on because I gotta walk through the courthouse. I gotta walk through.
All right, Judge. Talk to me about this sentencing. sentencing falls under your discretion most of the time. Am I right?
Yes, it does.
Like what brick a guy really catch? Because you can the disposition of the case is the disposition of the case. That's the law. But some things fall under your purview. So how do you discern when a guy catch a brick or not, or a girl?
Totality. The totality of the circumstances will always determine what the sentence shall be. It's going to determine, whether or not the person, did what they did knowingly, whether or not they were with a group, and if they were, because a lot of people don't take that into consideration. Sometimes somebody was just with them. Sometimes you was just with them, and you ain't really do nothing. You were just with them, and so I take the total. That's why I was saying. They say women make better judges. They don't look at what the outcome was. We look at the fact of what happened. What did you do? What was your part in this? How did this happen, and what did you do to contribute to the fact that this happened? So I look at every little detail before I decide what I'm going to do, what your punishment is going to be. When I look at a domestic violence case, I look and see how bad that girl was beat up. How bad did you beat her up? Did she get a couple of licks in? I want to know everything that happened. Did she start the fight? Who started? Did she hit you up the side of the head with a frying pan before? Did she pull a knife on you before you start? I want to know all the deets before I pass judgment and before I pass sentencing and decide what I'm going to, require that they do. I'm going to require that they complete an anger management course, or what I'm going to require that they do.
What if it was like a 600-pound life assault and the woman was 600 pounds and the dude was like 150, but she's saying she got assaulted? Do you be like, yo, ain't no way?
Might have been strong. Men are strong. Y'all have more body strength than we do. Yeah, because I'm gonna tell. Oh, look, this is a perfect example. When I won that murder case, the dude that got killed was smaller than my client. He was much smaller than my client. My client was close to 300 pounds. The dude that got killed was about 175 pounds. And the point that we made was that if you take a pit bull who is smaller than a Great Dane, or smaller than a what's that big dog? That real big furry dog.
Alaskan Husky, yeah.
Yeah, one of those big dogs that wouldn't hurt a flea. But you take one of those dogs and you pit them against each other. That pit bull know to go straight for his neck, and he gonna kill him in probably about 10 seconds. So it is not about the size of the dog; it's about the fighting the dog.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
That's
y'all,
straight
okay.
from
That's
Friday.
she on it, boy. She on it. Another one, like
Straight from Friday.
when we watch sometimes we watch sentences on television. I don't know how true this is, but you would see, like, say a suburban white kid or white woman would get less time because of who she is, as if the judge determined she couldn't survive in this environment.
Right.
Is that a thing? Like, how do they even say, okay?
And
but like, how does that work?
It's unfair.
Yeah,
unfairness. It's unfair because and judges who do that, they're not fit to wear the robe. And I'll say that in front of anybody. They're unfit to wear the robe because, like I said, justice is blind. Justice has no respect of person. You cannot look at nobody's wallet. Affluence is not a thing. It doesn't matter whether or not you got money or not. If you can't handle being in jail, then you shouldn't have done a crime. You should sit your ass down somewhere and stay at home. See what I'm saying? If you can't handle being in jail, don't do that then. Don't do nothing. Be good. But so it's just like, you can't do crime and then say, oh no, I can't handle being in jail. That has no consequence. That has no impact whatsoever on what I'm going to sentence. So the judges who take that kind of foolishness into consideration are not fit to wear the robe. You can't. I got one more, right? Because people are still, the person is still dead. The person who was killed is still dead.
Absolutely.
The fact that you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth does not make that person any less dead.
Absolutely. I'm glad we got that out on Comedy and Crime. That's been bothering me when I watch TV. I was like, how this white lady done got less time?
Yeah.
Another real quick for you guys. You see Kamala Harris is running for president, and I know she was she was a persecutor, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, prosecutor.
How do y'all Prosecutor, what? Come on, man. You know I went to community college now. Come on now.
Better.
I ain't got no scholarship. Persecutor, prosecutor. I mean. But do y'all think that will help her as a president, or do y'all think that hinders her? Like, how do y'all feel about that, being that y'all are in that same field?
Do you want to go first, sir, or do you?
Yeah. I mean, it's relatively speaking. I feel like being in the profession, being an attorney, having that skill set, you kind of get through things quicker. You kind of see where people are going. Blind spots that people have missed, you kind of catch those. So I think all of that will help her. Specifically being a prosecutor, it's the same thing. I feel the same way. It's like she can cut through the bullshit. So it's going to help her move faster. What I didn't like is they tried to use her record against her. Right. And our community is the community that's digesting it. They think that she wasn't supporting and advocating for Black males.
She's doing her job. Job.
Yeah.
Exactly. As a prosecutor,
go ahead, Judge. Give me something.
You know, they were saying that she prosecuted more Black men. Our prosecutors prosecute more Black men. It's like those are the statistics. You know, she can't help who gets arrested. And it's just like you can't, as a prosecutor. And the thing about it is, this has nothing to do with politics. Kamala Harris is the most credentialed, the most qualified candidate for president that we have ever had in history. And nobody can really argue with that. The problem that I have with Black men who don't support her, and this is from me as a Black woman in a position of power. We have Black women in a position of power. We have four forces working against us. White men. White men are afraid of Black women in a position of power because we ain't gonna listen to you. You don't tell me what to do. Sit down somewhere, white boy.
Get on.
Right. White women, they jealous of us because they don't understand Black girl magic. You know, because they ain't got it. Ain't nothing you can do. You can talk like a Black girl. You can do whatever you want to. You ain't gonna have no Black girl magic. You never will. You ain't got it. Third group of people, and I mean there are exceptions in every group. Third group of people are Black men, and some of them are intimidated by Black women in a position of power. And I've seen that in my dating life. It is unbelievable. I would have a better chance in my dating life if I was a stripper. Do you hear me? A stripper.
Really?
Anyway, and the fourth group is Black women because they're scornful of us. Like, who the hell she thinks she is? Okay? So it's very difficult for Black women in positions of power. And I have seen so many Black men who said that they were not voting for her and they could not articulate why.
They can't say why.
They can't say why because Judge, they don't have
I deal with that all the time, and regardless of your political affiliation, you should be able to say why not.
Right.
And to me, a non-vote, I think I'm gonna just sit home. A non-vote is a vote for Trump.
It's a vote. Exactly. That's a vote. And what you said about
this, guys, talk to me about this, Judge. We see more law on TV than ever in our lives.
Right.
And are people becoming more knowledgeable? Like the novice, the guy, the male or female that come to your courtroom, are they smarter because of television, because of watching the TV? You say no.
No, because I think people are watching more social media, that they're listening to more propaganda than they are gaining actual knowledge about anything. They're getting all the propaganda. They're listening to the bullshit. You know, they're listening to more of that.
That's why I'm halfway a lawyer. I really swear I'm halfway a lawyer.
Yeah, you are. And I was thinking about tell me, young man, young lawyer, young squire. What's your name?
Charlie,
I was thinking about what you said about her being a prosecutor and that making her a better president. But y'all look, when she was on that debate stage, let me tell you something. People were talking about how they didn't let her rebut things and they were saying that she didn't, come back. She didn't do that. Look, anybody who understands boxing, okay, let me tell you something, and know who Lennox Lewis and know who Muhammad Ali are. Baby, let me tell you something. What she was doing, she was jabbing. She was jabbing like Lennox Lewis. And then she was laying back on them ropes like Muhammad Ali and letting Trump punch himself in the face. That's what she was doing, baby.
Robo-dope, Judge.
Baby, that was some lawyering, baby. That's what good lawyers do, Charlie, ain't it?
That was it. From the handshake. The handshake was when I knew.
From the
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was
You,
brilliant.
you're going to acknowledge me. Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Or you not, and you gonna look bad.
Okay.
How about
Either
that?
way, she won.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey guys, the name of the show is Comedy and Crime. We're talking to Judge Gay Polk, Payton. My man Charlie is with us today, Charlie Coleman and Artsy Musa. Thank you all for tuning in. I Judge, we got it. We got to ask you, man. There's a lot of public stuff happening. Let's talk about Diddy, man. The federal government don't be playing.
Nope.
90% conviction rate. They don't be playing 97%, something like that. What do you think is gonna happen?
I think he's gonna go to prison for the rest of his life. That's what I think is gonna happen. I think the same thing that happened to R. Kelly is gonna happen to Diddy. I think the same thing that happened to Weinstein is gonna happen to Diddy. I hope that they don't make the same mistakes with Diddy. I don't think they will make the same mistakes with Diddy that they made with Weinstein, and the cases won't come back on appeal. You know, a lot of people were mad because Weinstein cases came back on appeal, but I knew they were coming back. I knew his cases were coming back. I knew Bill Cosby's cases were coming back because they let all that inadmissible evidence in. Charlie, we know about Rule 404B. You have to
404B will
determine.
take you out every
Yes,
time.
it takes you out every single time. You got to determine whether or not prior bad acts are more probative than prejudicial. And if they're more prejudicial than probative, you cannot let them in. And a judge who don't know that ain't worthy of weighing the road. And that's why I hit both those cases. And then Bill Cosby's case was reversed and rendered. He was found not guilty. Weinstein is just gonna get to have another trial. And so hopefully they don't make the same dumb mistakes that they made in the Weinstein cases. But if they play it right and do what they need to do, he's gonna go to jail. And the way how meticulous they have been, and how they have just like come out of nowhere with stuff, like they were in stealth mode for so long with this, and then they just came out like boom. And he gonna go to prison for the rest of his life.
Anytime you get that RICO, that's hard to fight against.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. That
Judge.
means.
Judge, when you said them three big words back to back, I was lost. Like you said like the probable, so the three big words. I was like, I knew you was right. I said she right, but I don't know what the hell they talk about. But
probative versus prejudicial. Probative
when they let those two things in, the case is done. I'm just hey. Wait till I get around my wife.
But you gonna say you can't let that in.
That's prejudicial, girl. You better shut your mouth.
That's all you gotta say. You don't want
shut your mouth.
Now, Judge, I've been arguing with women most of my life, and I've lost most of them.
Right.
It's not really ever based on facts.
Right.
But I can get it. You brought up something that been bothering me. The Bill Cosby case, right? Mm-hmm. And my mother, God rest her soul, when she was here, she always said, Rodney, it was way worse drugs out there than some Quaaludes back in the day. You know, it was way worse drugs around at that time, and that Quaaludes was like more of a party situation, party drug.
Right.
And so, like, as we look at a guy like Bill Cosby, is he the predator that he seemed like he was?
Now, I don't make some enemies for saying this, but I don't think so. I mean, it's just like I was saying at the very beginning, when somebody hits on me and I don't like it, I don't kiki. I said, get the hell out my face. You know what I'm saying? I don't kiki. I don't accept things from people. I wouldn't accept a role in a show or a movie. I'm not gonna kiki. I'm gonna tell them I don't like it. I told this white lawyer one day, he kept going on about my calf muscles and how defined they were, and we were in court. And I told him, I said, let me tell you something, white boy. I know you got a slave quarter fantasy, but it ain't gonna happen. Not with me. Don't you say shit else to me about my legs.
Wild in Mississippi.
I'm wild in Mississippi. I don't play, and they know I don't play.
And like, so he can say calf muscles, and you gonna let that slide?
Exactly. Like, don't say nothing to me. Like I ain't got nothing to do with your slave quarter fantasy. That ain't got nothing to do with me. We ain't doing that. I'm not Kizzy, and you are not Massimo. We ain't doing that.
All right, Judge. Judge, you breaking it down today. O.J. Simpson, Judge. O.J. Simpson, and I know, the man is dead and gone now, and God rest his soul.
Dumbass.
I
said what I
can't
said.
say I ever saw all of the evidence. Of course, we didn't see what the jury saw, but Johnny Cochran, is he the Michael Jordan of lawyers?
Yep, he was.
He was.
He was.
Give me that, Judge. Because this guy, I mean, I look at it like this: as you are a novice murderer, you ain't no professional murderer.
Right.
You successfully killed 2 adult people
with a knife.
And microscopic blood evidence. Like, it should have been blood everywhere.
Everywhere.
So that in itself raise a red flag for me. But when the collective consciousness goes against you, ain't no turning it back. I've seen it before. So one, did Judge Ito do a good job? Right? Because quarterbacking that whole situation had to be difficult. Talk to me about Marsha Clark, Christopher Darden, and Johnny Cochran and the Dream Team.
Okay. So I was unfortunate enough, Charlie, to be in law school when the O.J. Simpson came down.
You took all your tests was on that.
Man, look, and I was in law school at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
When the verdict came down. So they were mad. Oh, they was mad, huh? They was hot. So one of my law professors, he did an interview with the Daily Mississippian, which is the newspaper at Ole Miss, and he said that not only did Johnny Cochran deal the race card, but he dealt it from the bottom of the deck. So what he was saying was that when Johnny Cochran asked Mark Furman had he ever said the N-word, that he was dealing the race card from the bottom of the deck, which was to say that he cheated. So when we got to class the next day, he said, does anybody have anything they want to say about current events? And he asked us that every day. So I raised my hand, and he was like, Ms. Polk, you have something you want to say? I said, yeah. I said, I want to talk about that article you were interviewed in the Daily Mississippian, where you said that Johnny Cochran dealt the race card from the bottom of the deck, which was to say that he cheated. I said, but you've been telling us all year that as a defense attorney, that our job is to discredit a state's witness by any means necessary. I said, so if you want to compare
which is it, dog?
Right, which one is it, hypocrite? I said, so if you want to compare this situation to a deck of cards, I said, Marsha Clark is the one that called that joker Mark Furman to the stand. And Johnny Cochran did his job, which was to discredit a state's witness by any means necessary. And so after that, the whole class just tore into the professor. And we didn't have class that day. We just tearing into him all day. But that was, but that was the thing. It was like Mark Furman told an unnecessary lie. That's how I won the murder case that I won. When you catch a cop in an unnecessary lie, and they are the lead investigator, the jury is not going to believe anything else that he has to say. Because if you lied about saying the N-word, then you lied about whether or not you planted that bloody glove. So why they going to believe anything else you say? So, and Christopher Darden, bless his little heart, bless his heart. And I think the reason that he was crying was because of tension. He had worked so hard on that case, but he knew that they was trying to cheat. And you don't win by cheating. You win the regular way. You win by doing your job. You don't win by cheating. And so it's like y'all trying to cut corners, and Johnny Cochran was just good at what he did. And so he knew how to deal with it. And his successor's Willie Gary. Willie Gary is all about that money. He getting that paper. He getting that. Willie Gary getting that money. So
they did film about his life too, Willie Gary.
Yes, they sure did. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I've met him. As a matter of fact, Charlie, Willie Gary was friends with Dean Westerfield, Lewis Westerfield,
Hmm.
who used to be the dean of Loyola Law
Yep.
School.
Yep.
And he was, after he left Loyola, he was the dean of Ole Miss Law School. And I sang at his funeral, which was at Dillard University in New Orleans. And and Willie Gary did his eulogy.
Yep.
So, yep, sure did.
So you
I
be
was the
singing on the
last,
bench too?
huh?
You be singing on the bench too?
No, I did one time. One time, this lady, she was my last litigant, and she asked me to sing a song with her, and I did. So one time, I did that. But or when I marry a couple and they know me, they'll ask me to sing their prayer, sing the Lord's prayer, rather than say a prayer for them. So I did that today. So it's just sometimes I do sing in court every once in a while.
We saw in the last few years, we saw people attack judges.
Yeah,
You don't strike me as the type of person that's going to allow that at all for any reason.
they can jump over there, but they're gonna limp back. Mhm. I just renewed my concealed carry permit today.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Are you totally reliant on the bailiffs to come to
No,
your aid, or are you ready?
I have two armed guards at the door of the courthouse. I have two armed guards in court with me, and I got my peacemaker on my under my robe.
Ain't playing.
Yeah, we ain't playing. We quit
Judge?
school because of recess. We don't
Peacemaker.
play up in there.
Come
My
on,
Peacemaker
Judge.
gun, right?
Wait. I want to know
You
how
talking about
you
a gun?
felt. How
Yeah,
you felt
yeah.
about
I got
that?
three guns. I got my little Ruger. That's my little side piece. And then in my bedroom, I got my 380. And then I got my hallway monitor. That's my pump
Gracious.
action shotgun with the
Yeah.
pistol grip that's in the hallway.
Yes.
Come on
I
over
think
Go
here
you
ahead,
if you
just
Charlie
want
Cole.
to.
I
Come
don't
on.
know if I want to ask now that she talking about guns.
yeah.
I'm talking about
Uh,
the pump action shotgun. I'm
how,
talking about my pump action
how
shotgun.
did you feel about that judge where the dude leaped over the stand?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you feel about that?
I don't think they thought he was gonna be able to make it over.
Yeah.
I don't know what that boy was on, but I don't think they thought he was gonna be able to make that jump. But I think that she was disoriented because she hit her head against the wall. But I would have been kicking him all in his forehead. I mean, like, and I leg pressed 315. He would have had a concussion.
Hey,
Cause
I
I
love it.
don't fight
Hey,
fair.
y'all,
I
the
don't
name of the
fight
show is
fair.
Comedy and Crime. Comedy and Crime. Shouts out to our guest, Judge Gay Polk Payton. Judge, I can't
Man,
think
come
you
on.
coming enough today. First of all, Artsy Musa, thank you. And my man Charlie Coleman, thank you. Real quick, I've sat on a jury, and I want to hear your opinion on this before we go. I've sat on a jury before, and I know people do what they try to do to get out of jury duty.
Mm-hmm.
I say, as a black person in America, do your duty.
Right.
You can't, because
Please.
X person may need your opinion,
Right.
and
Right.
it was the most stressful time of my life. I sat on
Mm-hmm.
that jury. The jury, when you see the movies, Runaway Jury and stuff like that, it was that. It was so stressful.
Mm.
As a judge and a person that's advising the jury, how much, because I felt at a loss, like as you asked me, as a person that doesn't know the law, to disseminate what's fair. Like it seems like a lot to ask of a regular person. What's your take on that?
The jury that's the most important group of people in the courtroom. They are the most important group of people in the courtroom because they determine the facts of the case. They determine what's true. They determine what's real. And they determine what they're going to believe, what's going to be believed, what actually happened. That's what the jury does. And so they are the most important. And the judge can't tell them what to believe. The lawyers can't tell them what to believe. They have to listen to what the lawyers say, listen to what the witnesses say, look at the evidence, and make a determination that's fair and impartial to both sides beyond a reasonable doubt. And if they have any doubt, they have to rectify that doubt to the benefit of the defendant. So that means if they got any doubt in their mind, like I don't know what happened, that's what reason. That's reason
That's
without
doubt.
not
That's doubt.
guilty.
That's
That's
doubt.
not guilty, right? I don't know
Yes.
what happened, not guilty. It's just that simple. Because a lot of people just sitting in their toil and they toil. I'm like, why y'all still sitting back there? If you don't know what to do, that is the definition
That's
of
doubt. That's doubt.
reasonable doubt. Come
Right.
on in here and give me
Right.
that verdict. Give me that verdict.
Right.
Yeah. So
Judge, we gotta have you back on the show. You are the absolute joy
Absolutely.
to talk to.
Absolutely.
I can't thank
absolutely,
you
I would
enough for
love
coming
to.
on. Judge Gay Polk Payton came through and rocked the show today. It's comedy and crime. Thank you, Charlie Coleman. Thank you, also
Thanks,
Artsy
Charlie.
Musa. That is our show for the day. Wow, Judge.
Thanks,
Talk about the
guys.
stories, but you know we different, man. You know we had to add a little twist. Comedy and crime, speaking of man, we different design. You never seen a show like this. Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live. 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 Comedy and crime, Rodney Perry live.
All right, great show, guys. Great show. Great
That
show.
was magnificent. Y'all are great.